Blue Lock is a sport manga and anime about a soccer battle royal that will breed the best striker in the world. Isagi Yoichi is the main character of this manga who at the time of this video, went from being an average Joe to being Blue Lock #1. Because he's the main character, it's expected of him to be able to stand up to more players. That's the case for every shonen main character of mangas that went as long as Blue Lock did. However, this is about sport, and to me sport themes are different from other types of movies, books, anime or fictions. Because unless they are cheaters or legitimately terrible people, everyone in a sports contest deserves to win, so I put sports, especially team sports story to higher standard than others. And while I would understand that the main character has to win, for the story to advance, I also demand that the victory be flawless, and leave nothing to plot armor, character being nerfed and other contrived move designed to make him win. Because when it does happen, the main guy becomes the least interesting part of the story. Sadly, Isagi Yoichi doesn't respond to those criteria. Multiple times throughout the story, Isagi managed to get ahead, either because of characters being nerfed or because his actions were valued more than others that did better. In the beginning, it didn't happen often, but recently, it happened more and more in important matches and it annoyed a lot of fans, me included. So I'm gonna talk about all the times Isagi got ahead through plot armor. The 2v2 against Nerahaya and Baru. This was one of the most important match for Isagi and the one that helped him complete his style of football. In this game, he understood the concept of off-the-ball movement, and devoured Nerahaya weapons which was positioning himself in the opponent's blind spot. Nerahaya is said to lack skills in front the goal, that's the reason why he failed to score when he had a chance, and that led to him, out of despair, to try a volley instead of passing to Baru and secure his team victory. However, Nerahaya shouldn't have had this weakness in first place, because he's a forward and not the worst one according to Ego's ranking. Because it was 2v2 which mean less factors that could have stopped him from scoring. And the most important, the fact it was the second selection, meaning he scored 100 times against Blue Lock men to get there. For years, people argued that his training was different and that we only saw Isagi training, but no. Episode Negi gave us more details. Players had to use their weapons to pass, sure, the test was adapted to each weapons, that is true. But they all had to pass by scoring every time. So he should have had that skill in front of the goal, but they created that weakness so that he would have something to overcome to evolve, which led to him making a bad decision instead of passing. They basically had Isagi evolve by nerfing Nerahaya. Baru's nerf is more straightforward. We know that Baru's main thing is charging skills and shooting. However, in the first game against Team Z he showcased high level of technical, being able to nutmegs, rainbow flicks and other dribbling, but now he was not able to get past Isagi on his own. That same guy went through 5 opponents by going through them, and even charged through Negi and Isagi at some point, but he couldn't do that the entire game.
Ubers vs Bastard Mansion. For all the goods that happened in this game, there were a lot of wrongs. I'm not talking about the Kaiser being man-marked by Lorenzo, giving enough freedom to Isagi. I'm not talking about the Ubers not making strategies to stop Isagi and Kurona's coordination even though Isagi was the man of the match in the previous game. I'm not even the talk Harry being able to dribble through the team, including Lorenzo, the world best center-back. He even thought we saw him 2 games before, and his dribbling never showcased in that manner. No, the wrongs was the defenders like Aiku and Iryu being nerfed like crazy. First, Aiku, I understand that Isagi has metavision, but so does Aiku. In fact, he was shown with it in the U20 game. Aiku in the U20 was shown with his spatial awareness, reflexes, and jumping ability so good that no players other than Rin could score without needing Aiku to mark another or simply not being there. And even in 1v1 situations, Bro could understand people's specs. He beat Rin 1v1, a top-tier player on ball, and could react to Shidu, but somehow, Kurona could hinder him enough to pass to Isagi without Aiku being able to catch up. And later he fell for the 2-stage Isagi plotted, even though he had already understood Isagi left foot skills and his weapon. Iryu's case is even worse. Because of his size and long limbs, he has great reach and is good at dominating in the air. This guy won against Nagi in a ball control battle after the Nagi had already gotten the ball in the air. This is a guy who stopped Issei's volley shot in the U20. In the match against Bastard Mansion, Iryu intercepted the pass Ness made towards Kaiser and got the loose ball going towards Kunegami. There was 2 lob passes made towards Isagi in this match with Iryu in the middle. One by Kurona and another by Harry that led to the final goal, and Iryu did not reach any of them. The pass made by Corona, you literally see Airyu jumping in but not reaching it. And the final goal, Airyu decides to focus on Isagi getting behind him instead of blocking the pass towards him. Something he did with Nese's pass and the loose ball on Kunigami. You could use the arguments that it was unexpected, that they weren't looking at the ball or at each other, but that doesn't matter. Because of Hayari's last shot, the defense didn't know whether or not Hayari would pass or take a shot. Ike was unsure but had to keep an eye on Kaiser. Lorenzo thought it would be a shot, that's how he got cooked. But two players were convinced it would be a pass. Baru, who made run to block the pass course, and Airyu, who was sure it would be a killer one. But he didn't move to get the ball, he decided instead to move to stop Isagi instead, something he didn't do when he was going for the ball against Kunigami. He also established himself in the beginning of the game as someone here to catch flies, but when the moment involved Isagi, he didn't catch any. And the worst of all, this is the beginning of Baru being hoed. While we can agree that Isagi deserved his 100 mil, Baru deserved more than 30 mil. He scored 2 goals and one of them was a nutmeg that went through the new Gen 11, Blue Locks hero, and Max Nafi, the best player in the world. This is the only goal that was scored that on Noel Noah, the best striker in the world, but Baru's performance got undervalued.
PXGV Bastard Munchen. This game can be resumed in 5 words. Berserkerin has been nerfed. It was done in a smart way, I'll give them that, but still nerfed. In the U20, Ren was focusing on himself to score, he was using all his skills to the max and adapting them to beat the opponent in front of him, and destroy them. But in the PXG game, his flow state was reduced to wanting to crash into Isagi and score. Even when he knew he shouldn't.
I hate you, nigga, let's die.
They basically gave him a weakness that Ren shouldn't have had, a weakness for Isagi to exploit. It's understandable to have Isagi evolve, but when it's set up in a way that doesn't make sense, the character becomes less interesting for a lot of people, to the point where many fans hopes for his downfall in the current arc. The show is still enjoyable in many ways, and we are currently on the U20 World Cup arc, and I hope that they would be able to make Isagi's victories more compelling. At least for me. Thanks for watching.